edition of Neighborhood News. It's Tuesday night, and we're back again, Carlos.
Yes, and we're back again with one more of the Neighborhood News show. It's Tuesday, 7 o'clock at night, and Channel 95. We're back for one more show. Again, I want to say that if you are watching this show, sometimes sounds like a movie. This show, and it's not a Tuesday night, it's because you're watching a repeat show. So you can look for a new show next Tuesday at 7 o'clock at night.
Absolutely.
Right here on this channel. And for my Portuguese listeners, sejam bem-vindos a mais programa de notícias da sua vizinhança. Como sempre, nós estamos de volta com mais programa Notícias da Sua Vizinhança, sempre a falarmos desta maravilhosa cidade de Fall River, e nós sempre que podemos temos também convidados. Se está a escutar, se está a ver-nos e não é uma terça-feira, é porque está a ver programa repetido. Venha numa terça-feira às 7 da noite e veja o nosso novo programa. And something that we keep forgetting to mention is we are live. We are a show from Fall River.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not live.
It's not live.
It's not live.
It's not
live.
Yeah.
But it is. You're watching a show that is being taped in Fall River. So neighborhood-wise, how's Niagara? You've been hearing any other neighborhoods?
No,
everything's been so quiet lately.
Yeah, it's been quiet. Yeah, absolutely. But there are a few things going on. One of them, it was I believe it's in coordination with the mayor's office. There is going to be a cleanup, citywide cleanup. I think it's October 6th, and also there is going to be a big tree planting. Also on that same day. I think they're going to plant about 100 trees in the Maplewood area, and that was part of this whole grant that the city received this last spring. So
we probably need to do a show just on the tree planting to see what's the news.
Yeah, and we can bring Mary Ann back. Sounds like a plan. So that's going to happen, I know, in the next few weeks. So get out there and help out.
Yeah, so, and kids are back to school.
Yep.
So. We are starting a new year,
yep.
And it's so much to do, so much to plan. The summer projects are pretty much wrapping up, and now we are going to the fall and winter. I hope it's not a long one, but I have to say, out of the seasons, on the year, I love the fall.
Yep. I agree.
The colors, the weather, everything, it's so nice. And you kind of enjoy more the outside doors. I'm an outside person, so I love to be outside. And now it's not, hot, and you can really enjoy it. Gets cold at night, but it's good. One thing before we go on and talk to our guests, I would like to mention is, again, I want to thank the mayor for the $2,000 mini grant that we got, and last Saturday was the rededication of the park.
Nice.
Finally, I told the mayor there at the park, and probably. It's going to be on channel 18, I believe. They taped it, so it will be on channel 18 very soon. I told the mayor, I thank him, and I told him that it was kind of a drop on the bucket, the $2,000, but it was always worth it because it was at least an incentive to repair a park on our neighborhood that we really needed. All the neighbors are very happy with the results, and you can check pictures on Facebook, Flint Neighborhood Association Facebook page, and it was a really nice event. Kathy was there.
Good.
She was not surprised because guess what? We kept it as a surprise until the last day, until she got a call from Kathy and Viveris, and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I cannot be there tomorrow." That's how she found out. But other than that, you know, was a very nice surprise, and it was a very nice event for all the guests that attend. I have again to thank them all, for my friends, for Kathy friends that were in charge of the neighborhood back on the days with her. They were there. We have a few people that came out of town because they retired, they moved out of town. But when they heard about the dedication to Kathy Sartz, they fly in, and they will attend the
nice.
ceremony. So thank you to all of them. Our state representatives had the offices represented there. Office represented there. They were not able to attend.
Yeah.
I just got a call from Linda too, that she was at work and she could not make it. But anyway, for those that attended or at least had intention to attend,
Yeah, sorry.
thank you for your intentions, and thank you for you coming.
Yeah.
Very good. Today, school started this
today?
week, and I believe school started today.
Yep.
So, and that's why I thought it was a very nice opportunity for us to bring a school that, and Mrs. Carvalho from the Watson School.
That's your neighborhood school. Right?
Exactly.
Yes.
It's one of the schools that we are working very close. We are trying to help as much we can because we know the needs. So, like always, you introduce our guest.
Well, welcome, Mrs. Carvalho from the Watson School, principal at
Yes.
Watson School.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And Carlos, before we start, you guys are out showing us in our neighborhood. We have the Green School as our local school, but you guys are doing a lot more, so that's appreciated. You're making a difference in your area, so that's nice.
No, I think that we need to work
and I'm not
together.
calling you out. I'm calling you out in a positive way. So.
I know. Remember, we probably are the only two people that are positive on this city.
Yeah, right now.
It's both of us. Everything that we talk about, we want to be positive. So I know where your intentions, but it is. And Watson School has been on the paper last year a couple of times, and was. And I think they have very good news to bring to us and to bring to Fall River. Mrs. Carvalho, how you doing?
Very good.
How's the
Very good.
first day?
The first day was fabulous.
Was good?
It was quiet, it was organized, everybody was excited to be back. The students were very excited to see the surprise in the backyard because we had a playground installed this summer.
Wow.
And they didn't have one
Excellent.
before that. So that was a big surprise for them. We had what we deemed popsicles on the playground last week to bring the kids and their parents in so they could meet their teachers and see where to go today. So it made for a smooth transition this morning.
Excellent.
But even before the kids came to school, was a lot of work to.
Yes.
Needed to be done.
We worked hard all summer. We changed over a lot of our staff. We were determined to be a level 4 school last year, and in doing so, we gave the choice to the staff whether they wanted to stay or if they chose to leave, which is fine. Being part of a level 4, it's extended day. People that have families have to go. You know, they can't do that piece. It's a lot of hard work because we get 3 years to move the school and become a level 1 school, which is our goal. So a lot of new staff, so a lot of hard work all summer. Most of my staff worked most of August. Some went to some specialized training in July as well. Wow. And then they volunteered to go to other little trainings after working with me for 7.5 days. So we worked together, we made a lot of great plans, came together as a community, and decided we would really work hard to turn it around because the kids in the Flint deserve a good school.
Mm-hmm. And I have to say that we talked about this event back in before the school ended last year, because we bring the Watson School kids into the trustees of reservation, which they have a lot of fun. It's a fun trip for them, which I understand that last year was not too many funds to field trips for the school. So this was really a good thing that happened. But at that time, Mrs. Carvalho had to ask me, can we do that for my staff next year? I said, definitely, just let me know, you know, and we will book it. And I got an email finally from Mrs. Carvalho and said, you know, about that step trip, can you still make it through? I said, yes, I can. So we booked it, and yesterday the staff of the Watson School had a nice tour in Fall River, and I understand some of them, it's not even from Fall River, so it was a very important for them to learn a little bit about Fall River and, you know, the kids that live in Fall River and all of that. And I supposedly it was a very nice, your staff liked it very much.
They did. They were very surprised, but they liked it. It ended our training on a really positive note. They got to see a little bit about, you know, learn about the city and where our students come from, because many of them aren't from Fall River, but a couple of them on the trolley were pointing out the houses they grew up in and the stores they went to growing up. So that was a nice sharing for the staff, and they all want to go again and see some more of the city. It was we had a good time. We stopped traffic and got out and took pictures with the statues. And
yeah, and again, here again, another good and positive thing. We have so much to show in Fall River that even people from Fall River will love to know a little bit more of history. And I love to learn, like one of the teachers on the tour said, when we stopped to take a picture with the Lafayette statue there, and so, you know, back then was no fence around, so we used to climb and sit all the way up there. You know, so that's something else I have to add on the future on my trips. Besides the point that Lafayette got turned around in a week, so.
Crazy.
But I think it starts from inside, and with the teachers having a better view and a better understanding of the city, I think that brings a positive thing into the kids.
Well, if I could ask, you know, it's a level 4 school now, Watson. So, what is part of the plan then? How you had said that you folks are working pretty much all August. Is the plan that you have to go from one level to the next? You know, within a couple of years?
They give you 3 years. It's basically scored based on your MCAS.
Okay.
So for 4 years previous to last year, the scores, there's a benchmark you have to meet, and it didn't meet it.
Okay.
So it kept falling further and further behind. So once that happens for 4 years, they deem it a level 4. And then they give you a lot of support. We had to write a plan. We had a lot of help with that. We had stakeholders from the city meet and try to say, like, what went wrong, what can we do, and then the state comes in and looks at things and kind of gives you a focus area. And then we looked at all our data this summer. That was part of our work, and decided what's going to give us the biggest bang for our buck. Where do we need to really work hard? We determined what our instructional focus is for the year. We made school-wide plans that each teacher was going to work on that, how they were going to work on it. We're fortunate we get professional development every single week for 2 hours so that we continue that work and make sure we're going in the right direction for each time the MCAS comes, you know, that we need to raise those scores. So we have a great partnership with National Center for Time on Learning, and they help us to stay, you know, on the right course as well, so that everybody is looking at, we have 3 priorities. That's what they give you to work with, the 3 areas that are the greatest needs, and you plan how you're going to reach each one.
And so MCAS starts at the 3rd grade?
Yes.
And so they're testing them, and is it the 5th grade too that they would test them, or is it
3rd,
just?
4th, 5th.
Oh, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
So they all have English language arts. 4th grade also has a writing piece, and 5th grade also has a science piece, and all 3 grades do math.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know MCAS had started right about when my daughter was graduating, and you know, sometimes people think that, you know, you have to teach toward the MCAS test, but is that, you know, bringing them in where they can, you probably heard the story of kids counting change because they used to, the calculators, they can't count it out. And I don't think that's a big deal because sometimes it's hard to think in your head right there, and that's why we've created this. But yeah, I know that's something we have to do here in Mass, but you know, you wonder if the state would be able to look at this and see, has this really been an effective thing to test, you know, children's, you know, abilities when they get out of school. So, but just one more thing, and that's just an opinion thing, sorry. Basically, it seems like every school that has gone down to the Category 4 has been a school where when they come up with a plan, they give them this extended day plan, and I know Cuss, I think, was one of them that gave that extended day, and now they're up to level 1. So do you think that's part of it too, the more time they're in the school?
Well, I think it has to be well spent. It can't just be, let's add more time and do more of the same. So you have to be very mindful when you plan that extra time. We have an extra hour now. We put a half hour last year in February and the other half hour this year. So we are using it for school-wide intervention to help kids at both ends, kids that are struggling and kids that really can be pushed, to try to do that. But again, using the data and being very mindful and all hands on deck, everybody helping the students to become successful. So if you use that extra time well, yes, you'll come out, you know, and be successful. You add on and you do more of the same, it's not going to work for you.
So it's not always, every time they've extended a day with some of these plans in all the communities in Mass, that doesn't always necessarily mean
you're
success.
going to be a level 5.
Okay.
No.
All right. Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. But I mean, it's good to know too. I mean, we hear a lot now with the situation we're here with the government, no matter what agency or what level, you know, city, state, whatever, and you know, we all hear, and you probably heard this since you're younger, teachers, they have the whole summer off, and you know, they're just at the beach all day. And you know, you have basically shown that that's not the case. And you hear that teachers are home at 3:30 already. And you know, you were telling us earlier that you're usually at school till 5:30 every day. You know,
This summer I'm there. Well, I'm there personally every Saturday. But I had teachers with me all summer. On Saturday, Sunday, we were there Monday, getting the rooms ready because they were excited. They're ready to do the work. They want it to be a nice place. So they weren't sitting at the beach too much.
And I think like any other job is good employees and bad employees. And what happens with any job. But teachers are we can find really nice teachers. And those nice teachers are the ones that can turn a school around. Because they're not there for the job, they're there because they care about the kids, and when you do that extra hour could make the whole difference. The kid could be in class for 6 hours, but if you stay behind with that kid for an extra hour, he's going to learn a lot more in 1 hour than he learned through the whole day of school. And that's what I think. And to tell you the truth now, and seeing the staff yesterday, I think you have a lot of young teachers.
I do.
And it's only one reason for a person that wants to be a teacher, because they love kids and they want to dedicate and teach kids. And I don't think yes, you're going to find in an older teacher the experience. You're going to find that. But the motivation that they want to start, you know, they want to teach kids and all of that, you're going to find in a new teacher. And
hey, we're oldest, so I wouldn't say that. I think it depends on the person.
I can tell you, one of my teachers now,
in education.
I'm just going to tell you this, my teachers now cannot go for a walk with me, right? But these teachers that I saw yesterday, they're all set to walk with those kids anywhere, you know? So that's why, I don't know how many, how long do we have, 5? 10 minutes? Good, because I cannot see, I'm sorry. This is not Hollywood, so you just give us
But you know what, I have to say, you know, it depends on the teacher. Because when I was younger, you know, I went to different school systems in New Bedford, Fairhaven, Taunton, and then here in Fall River. And I can remember a teacher in Fairhaven, 3rd grade, I can remember her name, and I can even remember a lot of the teachers I had. And I remember a few teachers at Durfee High School that I had that I remember because they made an impact on you and helped you out
Every
when you
kid
need
that
help.
has a teacher that made an impact on him or her, they will never forget.
Right.
They could be 6 years old, but they will never forget to the rest of their life.
I'm going to tell you, now I'm going to be siding with Mrs. Carvalho. Each one of them were 40 or older. That made an impact on me, so. But anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, I saw it, and she has a good mix. She
I
has a
do,
good
I
mix
do.
there, you know, and working
have some
together as a
seasoned
team,
teachers.
I think you're going to be able to accomplish a lot. Let me ask you this now about events. I know you have a full agenda, and any events for the school for this year period?
We haven't planned them yet. We have put together a new committee this year to really dedicate that. We had some parent nights last year, and we had some really successful ones, and we were fortunate in that each event we got a little bit better in participation. At the end of the year, we had a paint night for families to do canvases for the building. We had over 110 people come in. So we have a family engagement committee this year that they're charged with planning those events.
Good.
Some educational, like a math night and an English night, but then some family events that we can bring everybody in and have a good time. We want, in a few weeks, we want to have a cultural event. Because to celebrate the different cultures in the building.
That's nice.
I remember last year, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago about our Arborist Festival that I bought the pumpkins there, and I bet it was you could make that as a nice event this year, the pumpkins, and I will try to get some pumpkins for the school again for this year. But I set up a neighborhood table there at open nights, so I will appreciate it if you let me know what those nights are.
Sure.
And
Sure.
we as neighborhood group, we go in and we meet the parents and we talk to the parents and we let them know about the events that we have too and all of that. I think that
We've done a
works.
few of your events. We do the parade, we've done your Christmas.
Exactly, and now I'm doing my agenda to present it to you for this year, and definitely the Christmas parades is something that the kids enjoy.
Oh, we have- I
to
love
do.
that.
Yes, everybody enjoyed. Okay, I'm not going to go young no more. Everybody enjoys
That's
the
right.
parade. We're going and we're going to have our second Christmas show. I'm trying to keep up the events, second Christmas show, and it's funny because they used to sing on Pleasant Street, and it was cold, and the kids it was cold. They remember that year?
yeah.
It was cold, and they were waiting to sing and everything. So then some schools were dropped because it's too cold. The parents don't want to take the kids and all of that. So that's why last year I turned the thing around and Fall River don't have a Christmas show. Here we go. Let's put a Christmas show. We made affordable for everybody. It was like $1 to get in. It was just an intent to have the show. So you will have that invitation this year again. And
And I remember that the kids from Watson, they
Yes.
did very well.
Yeah.
Very, very well.
they went in and out the stage like 4 or 5 times. They loved they loved the attention, you know. So
good.
we're gonna have that this year too. But one thing that I want you to know, and being on the studio here, we use half of the studio. That's why I invited before, and I'm going to invite you again. One of your prizes for your math test or something like that is a visit to our studio to be in our show. I think the kids will love that,
they would love
and
it.
that will motivate them.
They would love it.
They will motivate. They will be motivated to do best. And then I would like to invite them here. I think John will agree with me.
No, that's great.
Have
That's
them
great.
here at the studio as a prize.
Oh, that
And
would be great. I think it would be, I'll go and tell them tomorrow.
So, and again, I'm inviting the Watson School, but any school that listen to right now, any parent that want to bring that to the school, we will invite any school that wants to use as a prize.
Yeah.
I never thought I would say that, but to give them as a prize to come to the studio and do a show with us, and we will have a lot of fun, talk to the kids, and find out what they're best on.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I think that will do. And for Watson School, I think we want to wish you the best for this year.
Thank you.
I think you're going to turn the school around. You don't need 3 years. You need 1 year.
Okay, okay. I say 2, but okay, we'll go
2?
with 1.
Okay. So if you turn in 2, you will come back again, and you will
Okay.
you will let us know. But again, for all the parents, all the kids attending the Watson School, for all the staff, I wish them a very
best of luck.
successful year. And thank you, Mrs. Carvalho, for coming, and
you for
thank you
having me.
for having me. Always would. You open door when I go to Watson School. She hears my voice. Is that Carlos?
Well,
And so thank you again for coming.
thank you. You're a good community partner for the school.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for attending. I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Yep, nice meeting you.
And John, I think we're done with one
it.
more show. I lost the count.
And it went
so
by quick. So,
always.
thanks. And it's
The
nice
guests,
to hear.
what makes it go fast is when the guests are nervous,
Yeah.
makes the show go even faster. You know.
She was not nervous. She
No.
speaks in front of people all day.
Yeah,
so she's
yeah.
not
Not on television, though.
but it is, as of all, the stuff that we were talking about earlier, basically there's, a lot of problems in the world, the city, the country, but it's nice to hear something positive. And, they're going to get this school together. They're going to work with everybody to get this done, and it's going to happen. So I think people now more than ever need to hear these stories. I mean, it's not saying that things aren't, rosy all the time, but I think if you're constantly at this negative point, nothing gets better.
No.
So we got to start looking at this, look at the positive so we can move forward.
Positive. Positive.
Yeah.
Say something positive.
Positive. Say something positive about Fall River.
Very good. And see you next week with one more show of the neighborhood news. Have a good night.
Have a good night. And the teachers at Fall River, too.
Yes.